Hey guys, got some old names in shaving today. Simpson's brush here, the Duke 3 in Manchurian, and Mitchell's wool fat. It's been around for a little while, huh? And the modern stuff is this carbon shaving. I habitually have been calling this a carve, so please forgive me if I do that. It's from Carbon Shaving, and this is my prize from the 2021 Lather Games, very generously provided by them. It's a titanium and razor, and this is the base plate. That's a mild one, and I'm very glad I got that base plate. I'm going to try another blade in it. It's been a little difficult to find nice blades in it. The Astra that I used recently had 21 uses on it or so, and that was actually a pretty good blade with it. Mitchell's wool fat is the next soap to be used in the voting that you guys did. This one hasn't been used in a little while, as you can see by the cracks and the space around. And so we are going to put a little bit of use on it. And it did not start out as getting too much in terms of the voting. But then some of you late voters must have liked it, huh? I'm a big fan of its performance. Because I've got COVID nose right now, I can't really smell, and so why not? Normally I don't give up too much time to Mitchell's wool fat, because even though I like it, there are just so many great scents to be had by Barrister and Mann, and Sterling, and Declaration Grooming. A whole bunch of great scents out there. And so I'm using up the time now to enjoy and step back some of those bases that I like, but I don't enjoy as much as I would want to. Gillette Silver Blue, and this one is one of my testers, and so it's only got a few uses on it. I think the hash marks say that it's got about 6 uses on it. This is a blade that often, for me, works well across many razors. It's just a nice general purpose blade that's sharp and comfortable and not too kind of edgy. Cuts closely and comfortably in all kinds of different razors. So let's see if it works that way today. I've had the Manchurian brush here soaking for a good while. I've been comparing it with the Simpson, with the Sterling finest badger brush, and to be honest, so far this little guy's winning. It's very similar to in size and performance to the Simpson. It's a little denser, a few more hairs in there, but the tips are softer. It does everything the Simpson does, but it does it better, in my opinion, and it costs a whole lot less. And so I've been kind of fighting back and forth between those two, and that opinion that I established is kind of holding. And I figured let's use that Simpson another time, especially when we're using an English soap. Why not? The blade is in the razor, so I'm going to get my face wet. A little bit more than a 24-hour growth, maybe a 26-hour growth or something like that. Not a real big deal. If you load Mitchell's wool fat every day, then it's going to have a bit of residual wetness to it, moisture in there, and it'll load better and easier for you. I haven't used this puck in a year, 9 months, something like that. So the load time is going to be a little bit longer. That's normal for a lot of soaps, not just this one. I'll shake out a lot of the water. I use my kind of normal method Let's load for, why not 45 seconds or something like that. Oh, 5 was just rolling around right there, so we'll jump on it and we'll go all the way up to 50. Got a little light bubbling coming up right there. Actually, we'll go to 51 to get 45 seconds of loading. Yeah, there we go. About 15 more seconds. And about 5 more. Medium pressure as usual. And there we go. Get my lather bowl. Took some of the overflow, put it on my face. You can already feel that slickness. Some people are allergic to lanolin, so you will want to stay away from Mitchell's wool fat. It's got kind of a clean laundry, soapy kind of scent. Got to be really airy and bubbly at first. There was a batch in 2020 apparently that escaped the production line without being caught by quality control, and it just was not a friendly batch to load. And I'm afraid maybe the soap has taken a PR hit because of that. Guys who'd been using it for years all of a sudden found they couldn't lather it up, but I believe they've gotten all that sorted. Unfortunately, I don't use this soap that much, and so I've still got the same puck that I bought a couple years before that, maybe in 2017 or 18. See, those bubbles are now gone, and we've got a pretty normal looking lather here. Normal looking early lather. Looking good. Initial use of this brush revealed somewhat soft tips, pretty soft, but it was something behind that softness was a wiry or ropey kind of feel to it. I'll be interested to see if I feel that today. The lather continues to look very nice. Talking to John in the comments recently, and he was saying his lathers don't usually look as nice as mine. I do take a few minutes to put mine together, don't I? Sometimes that makes all the difference. Sometimes just a little bit extra time. I think he said he was going to try that and just see what happens. And he said he was using a hybrid bowl and face technique. And I tell you, if I chose to face lather, I think I'd probably do something like that too. I'd have a small bowl nearby. I might, after loading the brush, instead of going right to the face, I might go to that small bowl for just a minute and just kind of work up the lather early on, and then during the shave, as I was adding water to the lather and it got to be some excess there, I'd have that bowl to put it in, and then when the lather got skimpy on like the third pass, I'd be able to pull from that bowl. That's probably the way I would do it. And here is a wonderful, look at that Mitchell's wool fat lather right there. And it's still, I think, let's feel of it. Oh, that's still got some cushion to it, some heaviness, and I bet it can use some more water. When I say cushion, I mean resistance to compression is kind of what I'm saying. Density, if you will, might just be the same kind of term. I want that hydration, that's what I want. Obviously, that 45 seconds looks like a pretty good guess. Obviously, I'm going to have enough lather to do the job here. And boy, we're adding a lot of water, but that is kind of normal for hard soaps. 34 milliliters of water. Small handle on this brush. I'm not really a big fan of it. Better suited for a face latherer who is less likely to get the handle all soapy. All right, I think we've got a very hydrated, yeah, see, that's even more hydrated than before. I think we're in good shape right here. Very nice. Let's try that out. I really like these kind of vintage looking ceramic containers. I'm just a sucker for those. Get my face wet. Alright, here we go. See how the Simpson's brush feels. See if I made the lather too thin or too thick. Life would be very easy, and I'd have to do a lot less guesswork if I just would use the same soap repeatedly, because you just get used to the right attributes to look for, because all soaps just aren't the same. Does not look like I got it too wet, so that's good. It might be about just right. I'm feeling some backbone on this brush that I don't really recall before. A little bit of that ropey feeling, you know? A lot of kind of excess lather here. Wonder if it's leaving the center of the brush, you know? Yeah, see, look at that. And so then I'm feeling the brush's density. It could be that it needs a little bit more water, but I don't think so. It's going to get more water during the shave, so let's just kind of proceed on. Definitely not as soft as the Sterling finest badger. Man, I've got a lot of lather. It's not too much backbone for me, but it's definitely got a good bit of scrub. Like it's not like shoving my skin around or anything like that. Oh yeah, we definitely do not have it too thin. So I'm glad I kept adding all that water. But I don't know if I finished my thought, but when you use the same base over and over, there's just this wonderful benefit of learning it, being able to then just nail it every time because you know what to look for. Man, look at all this. I've got all this excess lather here, and I don't have a sink to wash it down. You know what I could do? Let's just kind of rake it off of my hands, and then I can put it back in the lather bowl, and then it doesn't take up space on my towel. All right. I'm glad I'm not allergic to lanolin. Here we go. Gillette Silver Blue inside the carbon shaving. Titanium razor with a mild base plate. With this razor, it's been pretty easy to find a good point. The angle, pretty natural. It is a light, nimble razor due to that titanium. You can hold it different ways, but I definitely recommend a very light touch so that the razor can kind of just glide over the skin. But with a razor as light as this, you do actually have to have a little bit more pressure than when you have the benefit of the mass of the razor, like a stainless or a brass razor or something, bronze, copper. I guess copper's probably in the same ballpark. You know, you just have that mass to help it move through the stubble. And there we go. First pass, pretty comfy. I think this might be a better blade, the Gillette Silver Blue, than the Feather or the Astra. Now the newer Astra that I tried out with this like 2 shaves ago was the etched Astra blade and not the inked one. Curious if there's a difference. I don't know yet, but maybe there is. Maybe that explains why the Astra that I have used in so many razors with great success, the inked one, behaved differently when it was the etched version. Now that first pass, no irritation generated, it seems. That's very encouraging. Terrific feeling of slickness during that rinse, or just a little water on my face, not really a rinse. And I think in a manner of speaking, the lather could use a little bit more water, but like I said, it's kind of going to gain some right now from my face. So I probably don't really need to add any more. Don't need that big old thickness, but I've just got so much lather here. Why not? Just kind of spread it evenly. Don't have to do too much scrubbing because we've already done that on the first pass. No, I can't really smell this. That's kind of to be expected. I think I'm starting to smell things just a little bit more. It's been 3 weeks since I think I was exposed, but it was 5 or 6 days after that I really started to see some symptoms. So it's kind of hard to know what date to use. Speaking of COVID, of course. Fortunately, I was vaccinated and definitely support please get vaccinated. I had an unvaccinated friend pass away last month. Good friend. I mentioned him on the channel a few times. Please just, in this case, I know some friends who have a distrust of the government, and sometimes that's, well-founded, historically speaking, if you look over the last couple hundred years. But in this case, it's a good idea, in my opinion. We've got a lot of data with people in hospitals, and most of them that are in the hospitals having trouble are unvaccinated people. There are just very few vaccinated people in the hospital dealing with COVID issues, and I think that just speaks for itself. A little water. Oh man, and the slickness I'm feeling during these little mini rinses, it lets you know what the lather's doing. It gives you this wonderful feeling of slickness and creaminess. And so yeah, I probably could add a little bit of water to this lather, but it's pretty darn close. I don't think I'm contagious anymore. I need to start selling. I've got a bunch of soaps and stuff I need to sell, and I finally started getting to where I might start putting together an ad, and then then I get COVID, right? Nobody's going to buy anything from me when I've got COVID. But now that I haven't touched any of that stuff, and so I'll probably wait, like 5 weeks after I am, COVID symptom free kind of thing, just to give it plenty of extra time to be clean, right? So this is a comfortable shave. I don't believe this blade is cutting as sharply, but in my case I like that because it's doing it more comfortably. I'm feeling more stubble on my face here in this third pass than I did with the feather and the etched Astra and the 22 use Astra. But with the first two, I was also feeling some irritation at this point too, and I'm not getting that right now. And I'm really happy about that, because if I can find a few blades to use this razor in, then that means maybe I won't have to try to trade it for something. If I can't find a blade to use it with that I enjoy, then I'll probably have to trade it. All right, so that's 3 passes. Now guess what? Again, I had a blade that wasn't as edgy, wasn't as sharp as the feather or the etched Astra, both of which were fairly young, but I got a closer cut. Here in my trouble spot area especially, on my neck in general, I got a closer cut because that irritation wasn't building up during the shave. It didn't make me tentative. It didn't make me want to end the shave quickly. I just was able to work areas just a little bit extra, and then I got this wonderfully close cut here. I don't think I see length in very many tips at all, and that's uncommon for me. So this it's really interesting. Got a couple blades that were just too edgy for me, and the Astra usually doesn't end up to be that way. It's usually more mild-mannered. It's usually more kind of cross-platform. It's more friendly and gets along well with so many razors. But that etched one just not quite the same. did they change the grind when they switched to the etching, the laser etching? It's got to be laser, you would think. Maybe they did change the grind, and if so, maybe it's a new blade, and I'd use it differently. I know I like to try like a Persona Platinum out. Got those Gillettes, like 7 o'clocks. The black usually does really well for me. We'll go try some other blades in this, and maybe I'll start a little note up here on the wall about which blades work well with it. And sometimes if you've got a medium aggression razor, it does play well with a lot of different blades because it's kind of sitting in the medium, and so leaning one way or the other, you're still in a happy place. Well, this razor is kind of right on the edge of the aggression spectrum for me by its own hardware nature. And so then a lean in one direction, maybe even if it stays in the middle, that's too much for me. And so I need to find those blades that kind of cause us to lean in this other direction. The feather and the Astra etched one, both as young blades, were either here or maybe here. And so I need to find some that are over here. And apparently this Gillette Silver Blue, with just a few uses on it, just 5 or 6 uses, is very nice. Close cut, comfortable all the way though, and that's very encouraging. So you saw with Mitchell's Woolfat, we got a wonderful lather, and there's no trickery involved, no special technique. Now, can you come at this thing with a lot of water? That might be something else to try. As I'm cleaning up the sides of it here. But it hadn't been used in a long time, so 45 seconds was, I'd probably, I could probably have done 40 or 35 seconds perhaps. The amount of lather I have left over is generous. That's a beautiful looking lather. We'll show that to you guys. It's even more hydrated than before. 2 or 3 passes in here, and that's gorgeous. And so this is Mitchell's Woolfat, standard stuff. It's a hard soap, lasts a long time, give you lots of shaves, and it is kind of like the Simpson brush. It's a piece of shaving history. It's part of the shaving culture, and it's got its own nickname. People call it the Fat. MWF, the Fat. Mitchell's Woolfat. It's one of those that's known all around, and it's not that expensive. And if you look on the used market, a lot of times you can get one of those little ceramic tubs with the soap in it for $20 maybe. Sometimes better if you can luck out and get a really good deal, because there are people that try it and then maybe they enjoy it, maybe they don't, but they just decide that maybe that scent might not be for them. Maybe they want to keep chasing after more potent scents. Maybe the same reason I don't turn back to Mitchell's Woolfat very often. There's just other scents that are more exciting, right? And but the performance here is just terrific. You can shred the puck like you can with any hard soap and press it down into any size container if you just want to buy a refill puck. Now some people will do things like taking the puck and put it in the container, and then they'll fill it with water and they'll let it swell. And I just don't feel the need to do that. It will kind of crack on you after a while, but I just don't feel the need for that. I just kind of, I don't think I shredded this one. I don't think so. I think it's just the puck. I don't need to soak it too much with water. Just whatever water gets on there with my use from the brush, that's fine. Man, that's a great lather. Okay, now let's, like we do with some of the others, let's examine this lather here for just the general contact slickness, the kind of feel it gives you. Let's check that out here. Okay, we do have some resistance to being compressed. We have, all right. It cut off because I filled up my memory card on my phone there, and I had to clear out some space. I don't quite know where I left off. I'm sorry. I think I kind of got close to completing my thought before I saw that little message pop up. So as I was clearing out files and waiting for my phone to process, I went and took the brush into the bathroom and gave it a good rinse. It's a dense brush, so give it extra time to get that lather out of the middle of it there. It is a good little brush. If I had it, the handle, it takes a while to get used to. You've got to really hold on to it. It's kind of small, but I could make it work if this was the only brush I had. So it's a good brush, but is it that amount of money good to me? Not compared to a lot of the options we have out there. I like my Umo super high density knot, Manchuria from Umo. I like that knot better. The Elite is a really good Manchurian, and this at the very basic level, you've got this Sterling Finest that just is softer and beats it out of the park there. Works just as well, but it's so much cheaper. And I like this handle, much more ergonomic for my hand at least. Of course, the handle ergonomics are something that's subjective, but there we go. And I will point out, and many of you know this, the Mitchell's wool fat, that lanolin, if you're not allergic to it, it can just really leave your skin with some softness that you don't get from some other soaps there, and so it can really help you out. What are we gonna do? Let's use up some of this Lathering wood, sandalwood. This scent that I enjoy, this sandalwood scent, might help some neurons to heal, my nose to come back a little quicker perhaps. So it's one of the products that I got in the very beginning, so I need to use it up before it goes rancid. I don't know how many more months I have with it, so it's been a few years now. I don't need a heavy-duty balm, and so most balms are going to work well for me, and so I can't speak to whether this is, a great one if you have really, really dry skin. But if you're just average, then it'll do a good job for you. But I got it so long ago, I think the company may have changed and stuff, so who knows what they're putting out now. That was back in the early days when Amazon was where I was getting my gear, and the comments on Amazon was where I was finding all my shaving advice, and it's definitely not nearly as good as like Reddit and Badger and Blade and Damn Fine Shave and Shave Nook and those kind of places. A lot better information on there, on those forums than the Amazon comments. I'm very thankful though that there were some people that got on the Amazon comments and left notes like, well, it's good here at Amazon, but check out this other brand here, or check out this other website. Maggard Razors, of course, was mentioned a lot. It sounded like such a strange term at the time, right? Little did I know what a wonderful shaving retailer they were, and a small business, a good-hearted business run by good people with good prices and a huge selection. Pretty cool. I hope someday to be able to visit the physical store there in what? It's in the Midwest. Adrian, Michigan, I think that is where like Declaration is, or I don't think, maybe that's where Maggard is. I can't remember. But I think they're renovating downtown, or a building. They bought a building in that small town, and it's a wonderful historic building, and they're restoring it. Really cool. Just a terrific idea there. Doing for the community, as well. And they do most of their work online, and but it's always good to have a place to walk in and see all the cool stuff, right, and smell it. All right. Wonderful that I jumped into Mitchell's wool fat today. It did very well. I think I nailed the lather pretty much perfectly. I could have gone just a touch wetter, but no big deal. It was right in that perfect zone, sweet spot for me. Just nailed it, and it gave me tons of lather for that 45-second load. Tomorrow I think I'll use it again. We could probably reduce the load by 10 seconds at least, because we're going to have a little bit of that residual moisture carry over in the soap. And due to the fact that I did have a little bit extra today, and just a good shave there, and very happy that the Gillette Silver Blue was a kind instrument when used in this carbon shaving razor. And let's see, I'll show you this one. I am using the little washer that kind of came with it. This is that kind of skeleton looking base plate. This is the mild base plate. I'm just going to gently set the blade out on the thing to dry, pat it dry gently, that kind of thing. And also I like to take this is just me, I just like to take the razor parts and just kind of wipe off the water, dab it off. And this is especially important if you have a Zamac razor. You can make it last quite a long time if you dry it off, because once that plating wears away from the threading, it'll take a little while for the plating to wear away on the bolt right here. And then when it does, that pot metal is going to be exposed, and it's going to be very susceptible to corrosion. So once you do notice that plating being gone, I would disassemble the razor and dry it off between shaves for sure. I would, and then you can make that inexpensive pot metal razor last a nice long time by doing that, preventing that corrosion. So Gillette Silver Blue, that turned out to be a great combo. We'll try some more later. Thank you guys so much for joining. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves, and I wish you all the best. Think heavily and seriously about getting vaccinated if you haven't been. And you guys take care. Good night.